little videos about the creating healthy habits, what to do in times of chaos and stress and reactivity. There's just some simple things that we can do energetically, some holds we can do to help update our energy responses. Because so often we go into that fight, flight, or freeze or reactive energy, and that's an ancient primal response to stress that doesn't really serve us in today's world and today's types of stresses. We haven't got the saber tooth coming, we aren't going to die, but when we get this hit of stress, our body still feels all of that. Our energies are still doing all of that. So part of my work is to update the response and evolve us a little bit more quickly than we're evolving, because we aren't evolving out of that stress response too easily. So there's just a few things you can do when you see conflict, and we talked about it in the workshop, so this is the supportive video. So the first thing to do is to observe from a distance. So it's like a step back. You see this happening, and you have two choices at this point. You can engage, you can dive right in and be part of the mire, or you can step back and observe it and just look at it and kind of lift yourself away from it and decide that you're not going to step into it. Decide instead you're going to observe. And from that place, it's a very powerful place, because from this place you can decide how you might add some positivity, add some new ideas, diffuse the situation, or really just decide not to participate. And so you've got a few choices at that point, and but diving in isn't helping. Okay, so lift yourself up. That's the first thing. And the next thing you can do is zip yourself up. So you go from your pubic bone kind of up your body, up the center of the body. And you can do that 3 times. And zipping yourself up energetically helps contain your energies, helps close things down from losing your energies into the situation. So this is a meridian in our body that runs from the base of the pubic bone to under the bottom lip, and it's called the central meridian. And when it's open, we're just kind of open to toxins from the environment or whatever's out there, right? And so when we zip up, we can more easily discern what should come in and what should stay out. And an added bonus is it calms the central nervous system anytime you work anywhere on the center of the body. And it also boosts your confidence over time. If you zip up regularly, you will feel stronger inside because you will be more protected. And that's why you feel better inside. So zip up 1, 2, 3 times, and you can do it more subtly in the moment, like just like this. You can hold you can kind of just put one hand here and up here, and that's a very subtle zip up, but it still works. And especially if you use your mind to remind your energies what you're doing. Okay, but at home before you leave for work in the morning, along with your daily routine, do your zip ups, because they're in the daily routine for a reason. Okay, and the next thing is the stress response reactivity pose. So when we go into stress, our stress response often makes us react. So we take that, and that's about taking things personally. This is an attack against me, and I'm going to react. And I'm going to react with sharp words. I'm going to react by jumping into the problem. I'm going to react by jumping into the gossip. I'm going to react by mulling it all over inside my head. And so instead of reacting, it's time to stop that. It's time to stop that. So if you find that you do react, and everyone has this reactivity in them a bit, and I use this pose a couple of times a week just to make sure that my energies are reminded not to be reactive. So you take your thumb and you put it over the nail of your index finger, like so, like the okie dokie sign. And you put that up against your temples. Now I have glasses on, so I'll take them off. You put those thumbs up against your temples like so, and then just above your eyebrows, right in line with your pupils, right in the center of your eyebrows, if you rise up above the lobe bone here, you're going to find some little dips in there. So your remainder fingers want to sit on those dips, so don't get in too far, just above the eyebrows. And here you hold. And you want to take, at the very least, about 5 or 6 good breaths here. But if you really want to shift reactivity out of yourself for good, I would take this on and hold it for up to a minute a couple times a day. And sometimes I hold it much longer than that. You can lean your elbows on a surface. You can lay back and prop up your elbows on the couch and just hold it. And wait for it, and wait for it. And you will feel your body getting calmer and calmer and calmer as you hold this, if you have reactivity in your body. And so that's a really good one to use to retrain your body and your energies not to be reactive. And you can also use it in the moment if you feel you're being reactive. And if you don't want to do this in front of people, if you're in your workplace, people, and everybody knows about it, they'll be going, yay, someone's using their tools. And you can also slip away to the washroom, go for a walk, excuse yourself for a moment, and really just take a few good breaths until you start to feel that calming thing coming in, okay? So that's the stress response reactivity pose. These are quick and easy to do. The next one is the frontal lobe reset pose. So the frontal lobe is where we have our solution-based thinking, and the primal brain is kind of in back brain area. And when we have a hit of stress, our stress response, our natural stress response, fight, flight, or freeze, dumps a lot of blood out of the frontal lobe into the body for running, for fighting, for freezing, right? And there's a lot more action in the primal brain, which doesn't have to reason things through, right? The primal brain does a response, right? And so what we want to do is not get into that fighty mode. We want to keep all our energy we want to keep our blood in the frontal lobe so that we can go into solution-based thinking very quickly in a time of stress. And this is very much an evolving of the stress response. And don't worry, your stress response will still be there for you, absolutely, if you are in a crisis and you need it, and you need to run, or you need to lift. And the reason that blood drops out of the frontal lobe and into the body is to give us that superhuman strength. But in our day-to-day stresses that happen all day long and set off our stress response, that's not needed. We get a lot of cortisol, gut, and stress hormones flowing through our body unnecessarily. So this is a really good hold to use regularly anyway. Anytime you're grinding through things in your brain, anytime something is getting upset, anytime you have something to say to someone and you don't know how they're going to take it, and you're worried that things are going to go south, really hold this while you think things through, and you will notice that you start coming into a really nice solution. So here's the hold. You want to put your hand over your frontal lobe, so really you're catching these same 2 spots that we were on the reactivity pose. So you're putting your hand over that frontal lobe, and this is going to pull the energy back up into your front brain. And your back hand is going to go just above your occipital ridge on the back of your head. And here again, you're going to sink into this. And this one is a very light touch. We don't clamp down on our what we call neurovascular points. These are access points into the nervous system through the brain. And again, we can lean on a desk, you can lay back, and you can lean against a wall, but don't let go. And if your shoulders don't work enough to get to your back, don't worry about that as much as holding the front, and you can always hold the other hand over the base of your neck if you can't, if it's just not comfortable to reach the back brain, okay? And you're then, once you get a nice hold on this, you're gonna let it grind. Let those thoughts grind in your mind, let it go. Go through every aspect you can think of in your problem, and don't let go until you feel the shift. And you know, suddenly you're gonna all of a sudden notice, it's not as big a deal as I thought, or it just kind of dissolved and it doesn't feel that big anymore. Or sometimes you just get a really easy solution, or, oh, I could just say this and that would be well received, because it takes away that stress around it and starts bringing it into a more kind place. Okay, so those are your healthy habits to build to help you work things through in your workplace. Thank you. Bye-bye.